Oh.
Hello and welcome to a rather overcast but then bright, cold, then raining morning in Manchester. A bit showery this morning, a bit nippy. But anyway, I digress. Right, sorry I didn't do news last week. The reason was it was Salute last weekend, and I thought, well, there's going to be a plethora of Salute videos, and there'll be people who've been to Salute and everything want to make the videos. And I thought, well, if I put the news up, right, then it'll just take viewers from them. Didn't really, because but I just thought I'd say that. No, seriously, it was just because it was Salute, and I knew that the channels would be flooded with stuff from Salute, so I didn't think I'd bother you that much. Besides that, I didn't really have much to muse about. I still haven't got much to muse about, but I'll find something, don't worry. Okay, you might have seen recently, over the weekend, Boss Tay has announced the Boss Tay Painting Challenge 2016. It's a bit different this year because rather than it being like the May Painting Challenge or the July Painting Challenge, as it's been in the past, it's basically covering a period from May, June and July, and it's 31 days of doing something towards the challenge, either over that period or in May or in June or in July. Do you know what I mean? It's quite open this year. So that's pretty good. The other good news is that he's using My Wargaming Live to run the painting community out of. So there's actually a group page on My Wargaming Live, the link to which will appear somewhere here. So go ahead and click that and have a look at what's going on. Go and join My Wargaming Live and take part in the paint challenge. That's not to say there's also a Google group for it, and there's also obviously the YouTube stuff that's going on. So it's a sort of like multi-platform event. But I'm very pleased that he's opened a group on My Wargaming Live, and he's running the running part of the painting challenge through that, which is really, really good and really, really decent of him. And I'm very, very happy. It's cool. Talking of My Wargaming Live, we've got quite a. I don't know whether it's a big announcement, but it's going to be something that should be of interest to some people. Coming soon. Please watch this space, and I'll fill you more in about that when it happens. But it's all goodness. Do you know what I mean? It's all goodness. Anyway, moving on. What am I doing? Well, I'm going to be doing my intro video for the July Painting Challenge. So those of you that have been sitting there thinking, well, Ringo's not been doing much painting recently, that's true. But as people that have seen me do the Painting Challenge in the past will know, you're going to get sick of me doing painting videos over the next month, starting in May, because I'm going to do the whole lot in May. I might not. I might actually complete it in June, because the end of May is my 50th birthday, so I don't know what's going to happen. But I'm not going to be doing much the last week in May, because that's when my birthday is, and that's when it's half term and the wife's at home and the kids are at home, and so I presume something may go on. And it's also my middle son's birthday and my eldest son's birthday all in the same week, so it's like quite a disruptive week that last week. But anyway, there you go. So I'll be doing a video for that in the next few days. I mean, I tried to actually do it on the weekend, but every time I switched the camera on, the phone would go, or Skype would go, or Messenger would go, or something. So I thought, I'll bugger it. I'll wait till the middle of the week. So anyway, so I'm gonna shoot that video maybe today, maybe tomorrow. I don't know, but it'll be certainly up by the middle of the week about what I'm going to be doing in the painting challenge. So. Look out for that. And to be honest, it's going to be a surprise for a lot of people what I'm doing. So there you go. All right. Okay, some questions. Right. Well, first off, let's kick off with Shane Lindley. Hiya, Shane. You all right, mate? Right. He's asked a slightly morbid question. He says, "Do you ever think that you won't get everything you want to have painted before you head into the great game room in the sky?" Well, I think that's true of all of us. I think we all buy too much shiny stuff. We all buy many toys, and we have so much stuff that we always think, right, well, I'll get that now because I'll paint it later. The only problem with that sort of thing is that you get that when later comes, you've seen something else that you thought, I'll get that now and I'll paint later, and you end up with a massive pile. Now, as people that have watched the channel for a long time know, I sort of got cleaned out a few years ago when we got flooded here, so I lost a lot of my stash. But I'm doing my best to build it up again. Do you know what I mean? It's building up quite nicely. But it's not as bad as it was. But yes, I do. I reckon that there will be a time when I won't be able to paint anymore. And it's coming because I've got problems with my hands and I've got problems with my eyes. And I'm thinking, well, I need to get some stuff done before I go blind and my hands freeze up. But I'll just get people to paint for me. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I think we'll all have unpainted lead when we pop our clogs. I don't think there's any danger of that not happening. Right, then we got Drunken Deer. He asked a question, which he asked a couple of weeks ago. I would have done it last week, but I didn't do the video. But there you go. He says, He says, your paints. This is to do with the painting stuff that we were talking about. He said, your paints. What are your favourite brands for metals, primary colours, etc., and which colours do you try to avoid, if any? Well, one of the things that some may know is that I'm very badly colourblind. So what I have to do is I paint to recipes. So I'll find a recipe for something, or I'll sit and research colours. I'll write all the colours down, and then I'll go to places that will sell those colours. Do you see what I mean? At the moment, what I'm hoping I get for my birthday is some Foundry paints, but Foundry Miniatures paint, because they're brilliant. I love them. But anyway, colours that I generally use, I use obviously my metallics. Now, some people, I've mentioned this in the past about metallics, but my favourite metallics are Army Painter War Paints metallics. I love them. I think they're brilliant. And they also make a superb black. But I've run out of that, so I need to get some more. But Army Painter War Paints metallics, I like them. Now, I've heard people tell that they think they're a bit thick. Well, I think it's all to do with how you store your paints. Because this one in particular, which I'm holding now, is Plate Mail. I use this all the time. This is a brilliant paint. And I also use their Weapon Bronze, which I make quite a lot of use of. Because obviously those metallics, those are my go-to metallics for everything. The other stuff that I use, and it's over there at the moment, just bear with me. I should have prepared this before. 1 second. Right, the other ones that I use for metallics are Vallejo Liquid Golds. These are beautiful, but they're a bit... You've got to be a bit careful with them. The alcohol-based paints, and it is metal. Obviously, with all metallics, it's metal, but they are really nice. If you really want to make something bling, then the Vallejo Liquid Gold. But make sure you use a separate brush and you clean it with white spirit, not water. But these superb. I think these are probably the best metallics I have ever used. I don't use them that often, but because I don't tend to do much blingy stuff, because I haven't been doing any fantasy for about a year or so. That could change. But anyway, so those are my metallics, the war paints and the Vallejo Liquid Gold. I mean, I do use other metallics. It depends. You know, it's like it's sometimes it's a case of what comes to hand. I like the Games Workshop metallics. They're pretty nice. I do find them a bit heavy, but there you go. That's me. The other stuff that I tend to use quite a lot of is the Vallejo model colour range. I don't use they have a game colour range. I've never used that, so I don't know. But the one that I'm currently really into is the Foundry paint system. That's these. And the reason why I like these is because somebody that's colourblind, what they do is they use, I forgot what they call it, like 3 paints. There's like 3 paints for every colour. So you've got a dark tone of it, you've got a colour, and then you've got a highlight colour. And it's really easy to use, and basically You just sort of like, base coat the area in the dark tone, the dark shade, whatever it is, and then you put on the colour over like 90% of that, and then you can put on the highlight over, say, 20% of that 90%, and they look top. Especially for me, because I use dips and stuff. I use the I use the quick shades, which just blend it all together and then do a bit of highlighting afterwards. Because I've given up trying to. I used to paint like stuff like every eyelash, but I don't bother now. I use Games Workshop paints. The Games Workshop paints that I like the yellow system for Games Workshop. That's probably the best yellow I've ever seen. The best, it's because the base for that is it just covers anything. You paint that straight over black and it works. And also reds, they do a good red. I think their reds are really good. In fact, all the Games Workshop, the Citadel paints are fantastic. It's just that I don't use them particularly because I think they're a bit too, they're a bit expensive. But also, I don't like the pots. I despise their pots. They drive me insane. In saying that, I mean, these are pots are the very, very first Citadel system pots. They're a bit of a pain in the neck because you have to open them and it gets all crusty. That's why these Vallejo dropper bottles for me are superb. I only wish that Games Workshop would start putting stuff in dropper bottles, and then that would just rocket the Citadel paint system. But it is a good system. So I don't know whether that answers your question, but the point is that it's whatever paint suits the thing. I mean, the reason why I started using Vallejo years ago was because I used to do a lot of military stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like tanks and things, and obviously they do. Their military range is fantastic. But in saying that, you can use the same colours on anything, and I've got quite a lot of the Vallejo paint range, model colour. That's about it really from paints. Coat d'arms are alright, but I find them a bit thin. It's a bit hit and miss with coat d'arms because I don't know whether you know this, but coat d'arms and Citadel paints are made in the same place, HMG in Manchester. So there you go. Right, that's that question. Hope it answers your question. The next one comes from Mr. Super Chippy, and he says, in regards to Europe, as you are planning to battle through history and play different periods, are there any periods or eras you won't be playing, and what armies will you be avoiding and why? Well, I could talk for a long time about this, but I'm not going to. I'll just be very quick on this. Europe is, as people know, is my campaign world that I've been building for my solo games for quite a while. It's going through a complete reworking at the moment because I found new ways to draw maps, and I'm getting into all that. I'm not going to bore you with my mapping. But basically, Europe stops when gunpowder was invented. So anything post the invention of gunpowder will not be taking place in Europe, this version. There is another version of Europe, which is the horse and musket period, which is basically 7 Years' War, Napoleonic Wars, the American War of Independence sort of period. So that's a different version, but it's not going to ever be like science fiction or modern era wargaming or anything like that, because it's not as romantic. If that's the right reason, it doesn't. I like World War II wargaming. I like the Battlefront stuff, and I've never played Bolt Action, but it looks really fun. But I think from the point of view of the eye, I like Ancients and like Napoleonic horse and musket sort of stuff, because when you look at from a painting perspective, they really appeal to me, and I only do stuff that appeals to me. So anything that's it. But the other problem with Europe is the fact that Europe is a place where it's at the tech level of about the 10th, 11th century Europe, but the armies that exist in it are Romans, Sassanids, Greeks, Hun, Goth, Normans, Vikings. It's all those sort of people. But basically, if you've got a bladed weapon and a spear and bows and arrows, it doesn't really make any difference. The only thing about it is the fact that, yes, I have those eras and things in my head when I think about stuff, but they all exist at the same level. And from a combat point of view, they may apply the tactics of those particular cultures, but that's what makes them different in the world. But from an actual game mechanic point of view, they're all fairly equal. If you see what I mean, they're not. There's no advantage to any of them really. The only advantage they have are the tactics that they use. You know, their battlefield tactics and their combat sort of mindset and how they operate on the battlefield. That's what differentiates them. The fact that a sword is a sword. In real history, obviously, as time went on, weapons and materials got more and more advanced. Armour became more and more advanced. But I'm not really playing that sort of thing, if you see what I mean. Just because people wore bronze or leather or wooden armour doesn't really make any difference in Europe. Because they're still fighting with the same armour value, if that makes sense, to even it all out. The mechanics of the campaign are quite boring, but then again, a lot of the stuff that I actually sit down and comes out of my head when I'm putting it on paper is quite boring stuff. But you have to do the boring stuff so you can do the fun stuff. But so there aren't any particular periods apart from anything with. Okay, I'll qualify it. Rifled, anything that's rifled is not going to happen in Europe, and I think that gives you a cut-off point of about the mid 19th century, mid to late 19th century, when we started to see rifling coming through. Obviously, the horse and musket one is a different campaign. That's a different thing, but I have these different things existing in the same geographical location. It's just that it's different points in history. And it is one of these things that you do, and it sits there in the background, and you just do it 2 or 3 days a month, sort it out, or maybe 2 or 3 months a year. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those things. It's sort of like a labour of love rather than actually trying to achieve anything. It's just something that I really enjoy doing, is writing and stuff. Because at the moment, as I said the other week, we're playing Dungeons and Dragons quite a lot at the minute, so that's sort of like interrupting everything at the moment. Because once we start playing Dungeons and Dragons, we start playing and then we're like up until 1, 2 in the morning. Nothing's got done, not even the dishes. So that's it. That's all I can say on Europe. Talking of Dungeons and Dragons, where are we now? I got this the other day. Which is Murder in Baldur's Gate, right? And it's a thought. Well, it's a great thing because Wizards of the Coast. This has been put together in such a way that it's not specific to a particular edition. So you can run this in 3rd, 4th, and 5th edition. And if you go to the website, you see you've got all of the stats for everything. I think the stats in here are for 4th edition, but they've got all of the monsters and everything and the NPC stats, and you can download it all, and it's brilliant, and I really love it. When I think about it, with Wizards of the Coast, because I haven't been in D&D for quite a while, but with the Wizards of the Coast stuff, there's so much stuff that you can just download on PDF for free. And when I think about how TSR used to be, where TSR would charge you, a fortune for a bit of paper, the whole thing mindset is brilliant now. I love it. I'm probably being a bit bit dissing whatever it is to TSR there, because TSR are a brilliant company. But anyway, there you go. Right, so I think that I can feel myself starting to waffle now. You may have thought that I've been waffling for quite a while already, but I'm just starting. I can feel it coming on now. So what I'll do is I'll stop there. Go and check out the painting challenge stuff on my Wargaming Life. There will have been a link in, and there'll be a link into the group below somewhere. And that's about it then, really, for this Muse. Next week is May, I think. Yeah, it's May the 2nd. Next week. Watch out for. Is it May the 2nd on Monday? Yeah, it must be. And on Wednesday, it's a very, very important day. And I'm sure we'll all be aware of it on Facebook on Wednesday after the 2nd of May. So what I probably won't be doing any muses throughout the painting challenge, although I might, but incorporate them into the painting challenge, if you see what I mean. So there you go. But if you've never done the Boss Tay painting challenge, please go and have a look at it. It's brilliant. And if you have got a channel or you're just starting out on YouTube and you want to get to sort of interact with loads of people, the painting challenge is the thing to do. It's superb, and it's probably one of the most well supported sort of things that I know of. Anyway, all right. Well, thanks very much for watching. I'll catch you next week. Bye.